we sponsored candidates to against those
who were persistent.
Yes, and this candidates won. You see,
you are playing behind the scenes.
Yes, yes.
Could therefore somebody say, Raila, that your first direct involvement with what must be called politics is when you are detained?
We had been, in 1979, the same thing happened. But then this time around, we organized ourselves, called ourselves a Composite Group. There was also quite a bit of rigging. And the first one was this Uganda by-election, when we sponsored James Orengo.
Yes.
And
Bishop Ondieki was given.
Bishop Ondieki had opposed Matthew Ogutu, who was then a cabinet minister.
Yes.
And he beat him.
Yes.
And they did open rigging. We were there in the counting hall.
Yes.
This was counted, Ondieki had won. Ogutu appealed for a recount.
Yes.
Ondieki won.
Yes.
A third time, Ondieki won. Then now they said a fourth time.
Somebody else won.
But this time now the PC had come.
Yes.
The chopper. And
not the DC anymore.
Yeah, the PC himself came. The Chelugate. And there were choppers with a chopper. And then there were GSU brought in. And they just now took the bundles, piled them like this and said,
Good was one.
And then they started shooting in the air and took off.
So this thing has a history to it.
Yeah, then I told Jim, make sure that you seal all the boxes and we appeal.
Yes.
It was done, and then appeal, Ogutu was removed. I mean, it was, but then they say that Bishop had committed
election
offense because, they caught ballot papers in one of the stations, and they had kept these ones as exhibits in court. Now the argument was that they should have handed over those things to the electoral material to the police.
Something like that.
The police.
So he was bad from running.
Bad from running.
That's how Jim now went in.
A young man. Jim, young man.
So, but for Raila Odinga, then we are meeting him in 1982.
But then now, I'm saying, in campaigning for Jim, we formed a group called Wakombozi Group.
Okay.
After Jim won, there was another by-election in Karachuonyo. Phoebe CEO and Okika Maya.
Yes.
We went there and
Phoebe
again.
was persistent.
Yes. Phoebe won.
A Mkombozi group person.
Mkombozi group.
Okay.
Then there was another by-election in Nyeri. Oruru Kanja had been imprisoned.
Yes, because of currency and stuff like that.
And then now we went there.
Yes.
Myself, Jim Orengo, Mashingo Mashofi, Abuya, Koigi Amwere, and we camped in Nyeri for 1 full week.
Anti-government forces.
Then now we decided that we were going to form a political party. Because first I remember, Jaramogi, the MP for Bondo had been asked to resign.
For Jaramogi,
And after he resigned, then they said that Jaramogi had made some speech in Mombasa.
Yeah, disparaging Kenyatta.
And then he was barred from running.
Yes, correct.
So after that, we now said, let us form a political party.
Yes.
Okay? Our own. Because at this rate, we will never allow our people to run.
If I'm not wrong, this is the party your father tried to have the first African registrar, King Arui, to register?
No.
Not that one.
That
was 82 or something.
That was, no, that we never even got to there.
Yes.
The one was now, this was NDP. This was now 91.
Yes.
Is when they came with the NDP. But this other one here was called KSA.
CASA.
KSA, Kenya Alliance, Kenya Social Alliance.
Yes.
CASA.
CASA, yeah.
So we were with a group of people, and George Nyona was one of us.
Yes.
Salim Lone was with us. The late...
But at that time, Raila Odinga, you haven't quite been heard of on a serious public scale. On a public scale.
Basically facilitating.
From the sides and...
societies. I'm behind the whole idea.
Yes.
But I'm not...
but Raila Odinga now became a name when you were detained in 1980?
82. But now I just want to explain the events leading to 82.
Yes.
After we are now registered, after we formed the party, we had done a manifesto and a constitution.
Right.
We wanted now to register. We had a meeting with Jaramogi, George Nyona, myself, the late Yangi Mbaja, and Abuya Buya.
Yes.
And we agreed that we would now do the launching of the party the following week. This was over the weekend in Nairobi. Jaramogi will travel by train from Kisumu and arrive on Tuesday morning. And then we would take him to Norfolk Hotel, and where we would then go and have a press conference.
Correct.
To announce the launching of the party.
This new party.
Yeah.
Yes.
He had a telescope. He had been invited to House of Commons to go and address some members there by the late Lord Fenner Brockway.
Correct.
That's where he let the cat out of the bag.
Oh, that about to do this.
He was going to reform a party.
So did anything dramatic happen?
So these people were alarmed when he came here.
Yes.
So now they were now following people closely.
Yes.
Literally, anybody close to Jaramogi. So George Nyona left Kisumu and came to Nairobi to do arrangement on Monday with him.
Yes.
But now on Sunday, there was a journalist, this stringers, who called him to say he needed to meet him. And we had told him that this guy was an informer.
But he went nevertheless.
Intercontinental.
Yes.
He didn't see that guy. He went right in the hands of the special branch. Was arrested, taken back to his house in Madaraka. They did a search. They found the constitution, the manifesto.
So in short, you never go to launch there?
We never go to launch.
But now I've been trying to push you to this
But
direction.
now, Jaramogi was supposed to arrive on Tuesday, on Wednesday morning.
Yes.
But on Tuesday, they rushed to Parliament. And that's when Section 2A.
Oh, that's how Section 2A was introduced?
Yes.
One afternoon, just as quickly as anything can be.
Moved and So now, and passed. It was moved by Kibaki, second by Benjonjo.
Yes, I remember, yeah.
And you've seen it in the Hansard.
And then Kenya became officially a one-party state.
One-party state.
And your casa died like that.
Yes.
Back to Raila Odinga. So Raila Odinga then continues with these activities. Things happen in 82, you are detained. Cut a long story short, Raila, you've been through a lot of these things. You've continued in the trenches, sometimes in government, sometimes a fierce opposition person, now working with the president in some kind of arrangement. You worked with Kibaki also in that coalition government that brought a lot of benefits to this country. This handshake has also brought peace to the country. We cannot begin to count the good things. But looking back, Raila, what can you point at as your most memorable moment in politics? You've been through a lot. What makes you proud? Can you point at a thing or two and say, now when I see this, I forget all the suffering I've gone through?
You see, when I was detained in C2, the situation, of course, was very bad politically. There's no freedom of speech, association. But when I was released
Yes.
in 88,
Yes.
it was worse.
It was worse.
There was so much fear. We are sleeping now in a truly...
You've been there for 6 years in detention.
Yes.
You come back, you find things are worse than you
You've
left.
come back in a
when you
completely different country. Worse.
Yes.
The day I was released,
Yes.
Parliament was dissolved.
Uh-huh.
They announced our release spontaneously with
Dissolution of
dissolution of Parliament. And now election, there's going to be a
Oh,
general...
that was a long election.
Yes, exactly.
Correct.
And when I now came back home here, there was campaign was going on. There was a Mamo running against one Mr. Oluoch.
Oluoch.
Yes, Gilbert. And I went to the first rally in a marketplace here called Nyamonye.
Yes.
And there was a crowd. Then I heard this Oluoch addressing people. And they say, Mtukufu Rais. They say, Juu zaidi.
You couldn't believe it.
I couldn't believe. And that has been repeated
Yes.
time and again.
So what makes you
Proud.
proud that I've been part of this struggle in this country?
For when you look at where we've come from
Yes.
and where we are today,
That makes you,
proud that the struggle
it
was
sort of
worth-
compensates you for, in a way.
in many ways.
In other words, looking at the achievement is something you could do over and over again
And
for this
any
country.
time I don't regret
You don't regret.
what we did.
But just before we go for a break, let me ask you this. Were there moments you felt, no, it was getting too much? Like in the Bible, the guy says, Jesus says, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Were there moments you felt, no, you couldn't go on? Were there moments you felt, no, this is not worth it? When you had to summon all your energy to go through, were there such a moments? When you almost gave up?
No, I don't remember. I believe that the moment I basically said, if it is death, let me die with dignity.
But Raila, you've been disappointed many times. From your quarter, elections have been messed, and 2007, many people believe you won. 2017, it was your year to win again. And even the Supreme Court agreed with you. Are you telling me when you say, it's not worth it? I mean, this is not my country. How would I be suffering for this country, fighting for it, and it doesn't seem like, it looks like I'm the only one fighting for it. That doesn't cross your mind?
You see, I believe that I'm part of a movement.
Yes.
I'm not doing this thing for personal aggrandizement.
Yes.
That Raila Odinga should personally benefit. And that is what actually has kept me going.
Yes.
Because I'm doing this for posterity.
But there must be low moments when sometimes, in moments of reflection, when you are alone, you say, yes, I love this country. I love it so much. I've given everything to this country. But if it gets to where it has gotten today, I think, are there moments you don't feel like almost breaking down? Giving up completely?
I believe that, that is amounting to surrender.
Amounting to surrender.
And I don't believe that surrender is a solution.
Yes.
In my view, because then your enemies, your adversaries are the victors.
Throw away now. There are those who believe that Raila Odinga has played his role. He has suffered. He has brought freedoms in this country. He has done what a man could possibly do and more. But there comes a time when a man must say, okay, fine, and say, I've done my bit. Let me call it a day, go to my home, put on shorts, occasionally go and fish, and maybe you tell the young boys to say Mudavadi, Endelea, whoever it is, Kalonzo Musyoka.
You see,
that moment now, just before you go for break?
You see, they are a team who are always been opposed
Yes.
to what you stand for.
Yes.
They're the ones who hear them talking loudest.
Yes.
It is time for you
To go.
retire now.
But Raila Odinga has some energy left in him, which he still wants to give to this country.
Certainly, and
Yes.
not only that,
Yes.
I represent a movement.
Yes.
See,
Okay.
and the people who are with me,
Yes.
if they feel that I'm tired or that they no longer want me, they will tell me.
There's some unrest in that movement. When you come from our break, we are going to address that issue and say and look at really whether that movement is still as intact as it was.
Every
But,
movement
Yes.
has got its highs and its
And
lows.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
If there's some lows, there will be acrimony. I mean, people will blame game
Yes.
and so on and so forth.
Yes.
You look at that and you say, this is one of them.
Yes. Yes.
My view is that I have no problem in going into retirement.
But you still have the energy, you yourself.
I have an energy.
You have the energy and you can go on.
And there's also a reason.
Yes.
The most important thing is there a reason, there
Yes.
a cause.
Many
Okay.
many people right now watching us are saying, hey, they want to digest that. Let's give them a few minutes to digest as we go for break.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Ebindaya seyo, ebindaya tanu, ebindaya moyo, ebindaya time, ebindaya nguma, kwataka wayaka kwataka view. Hey, what's up? My name is Movie and thank you. Ebindaya time, ebindaya nguma, kwataka wayaka kwataka view. Hey, what's up? My name is Movie and thank you. For the last 3 months we've been watching Coffee with Movie. Nasema ni asante, nashukuru. Thank you for the suggestions, for the opinions, for the suggestions of who you want us to have and the better ideas of how we can modify this show to suit you as best as possible. Nataka niwawish Merry Christmas, Happy Brand New Year 2021. Au sio? It will be bigger, greater, fuller, excellenter. Au sio? I wish you a Merry Christmas, I wish you a Merry Christmas, I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New 2021, yo.
This is TV47. Happy holidays.
Back viewers, welcome back, Bana Raila. Before we went for the break, short break, we were talking about the difficulties you've gone through and whether really there were times you felt you could give up. And you said yes, like every human being, there are times, but then you are able to manage that. You've also said that you still have energy to serve this country. You represent a movement, which is, I think, true to a large way. Now, there are those in that movement of yours who believe the presidency is the ultimate. And if you are not going for the presidency, it will be quite difficult for them. So when 9th of March 2018 comes, on the steps of Harambee House, they see you in a handshake with Uhuru Kenyatta. They feel a sense of betrayal. Because they could see you are being put in a situation where you may no longer be in control of the situation. And therefore your quest for the presidency maybe was coming to an end. What do you have to say to those people? And remember, they are your followers.
No, you know, Professor, there are circumstances
Yes.
which force people to do certain things,
Yes.
and which other supporters may not be in a position to understand,
Correct.
because they didn't know what were the factors which conspired to make us take that kind of position.
Yes.
But you're always able to explain.
Have you done the explanation?
I've done that.
How come I haven't heard myself?
No, but
Have you explained well enough, Raila?
my constituency understands.
I'm part of it, perhaps. I have not heard. Yes.
They understand it now.
They understand.
Very well.
But when I'm taking porridge with them in Kondele, I see, yes, they still follow you, they understand, but not quite, some of them.
You see, the
You still have some explaining to do.
Remember, when we were here recently with Uhuru,
Yes.
that is how they accepted Uhuru
Yes, yes, yes.
in Kisumu.
Yes.
Because they said, look, where we had reached,
Yeah.
we had reached a complete stalemate.
Yes.
The options that we had were not very good for the country.
Yes.
Because remember that those people who said, let us now remove all the portraits
Yes.
of the president
Yeah, I remember it was
and
ugly.
heap them somewhere and touch them. And then let us begin to collect taxes in all our
Yeah, I
strongholds
remember.
and run our affairs. Then we saw that that was going to take Kenya to Somalia,
Yes.
and that to repair such a situation is
It will
not
take
easy.
years.
Take years. So against that background,
You can say they understand.
you understand. And
But now, Bwana Raila, you have said Raila Odinga doesn't have to be president. The handshake was not about 2022. And Kenyans are getting to accept and to believe that. It was a bit difficult for people to believe. I want to imagine a situation where the time of reckoning has come and Raila Odinga is not offering himself for president. Don't you think this will really injure your constituent, that movement of yours? Are you prepared to face them if such an eventuality were to come? I mean, don't tell us whether you are going to run or not. I've seen many people asking you whether you are running. I'm not interested in that. But I'm just looking at a situation where Raila Odinga, finally, the day of reckoning has come and is not on the ballot. Are you ready to contain the anger?
you know, the thing is that my people understand that we are in a movement,
Okay.
and that if it is not Raila Odinga, it will be somebody else
Yes.
who will be perpetuating the aims and objectives of the movement. Okay?
Yes.
And it's something I will be able to explain
You will explain to them.
if and when the time comes. Okay? I said if and when. So it's a bridge that we will cross when we reach it. But I said, if we are now to say I'm not running
Yes.
or I'm running,
Yes.
then people's attention will be diverted.
To that side.
That
Whether
side.
you are saying you are running or not,
Yes.
it will be the attraction now.
If I say I'm not running,
Yes.
it seems to be an issue.
But if Raila Odinga were to run, you have done it 4 times, I think, and you know yourself.
Yes.
If you were to run, would you stand a chance? Do you still feel you could have a chance? If you were to run, you don't have to run, you have said before that.
I mean, Kenyans will decide.
But you have a sense. A good candidate has a sense of success beforehand. It is wannabes that who think they'll win even when they are going to get 10 votes. But you are experienced enough to know Raila Odinga.
Professor, I will not run
Yes.
if I did not have a chance.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
I understand
Yes.
following this country.
Yes.
quite
So if you are to run, you would
clearly.
only run if...
And I would run if I have a chance.
Yes. Would Ruto scare you into not running?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
If you are to run, how do you rate yourself against him?
I mean, I'm
Would
sure,
you whitewash him? Will you beat him? Will it be 50-50?
you know, Kenyans
Yes.
are much more intelligent.
Yes.
You see some euphoria,
Yes.
and they can deceive you.
You are not worried about the hustler narrative and movement?
People understand.
Yes.
Who is this who is saying it?
What is it they understand?
What is his,
What do they understand?
what is background?
So unasikia wanasema kwa ground vitu ni tofauti?
There's a lot of propaganda.
Yes.
Okay?
Will you surmount that propaganda?
No, Kenyans will make a choice.
So you are confident Kenyans will see William Ruto for who he is?
Will
And
make an informed choice.
you have no doubt about that?
I have no doubt about that. I have confidence in our people. and our confidence in our people's ability to make the right decision
Yes.
at the right time.
And what if that right decision is they vote for the hustler? Will
Then
you?
that is, of course, we say that is the choice. They have to live with it.
Ama itakuwa mashetani imewaingilia.
That's your choice.
Yes.
You know, to say choice,
But according to you, is an unlikely.
choices have consequences.
Yes.
And do you
They have
remember
consequences.
our friend, the ambassador,
Carson. Yes.
he said choices have consequences.
Consequences.
And they've seen the consequences. Do you remember?
Yes.
Now you're being promised.
Yes.
See, Ruto is busy making promises.
Yes.
Yet he's the vice president.
We should be working now.
In the last term,
Yes.
he was like a co-president.
Yes.
They were partners,
Yes.
like Kibaki and myself.
Correct.
So I would be a hypocrite to begin to be blaming all the bad things in the Grand Coalition government on Kibaki.
Yet you are part of it.
Yeah,
Right.
Kibaki, I was very much part of it.
Raila Odinga has told us we don't need to talk about 2022. So I think let's stop there. What do you see as your vision, ultimate vision, for the handshake and BBI?
You know, I've been telling people that
Yes.
Kenya is always a country waiting to happen. The Kenyans, the founding fathers envisioned,
Yes.
has never surfaced. If you look at that national anthem, that message of God bless Kenya, justice be our shield and defender, may we dwell in unity, peace and liberty.
And the plenty be found within our borders. That plenty has not been found. We are still a poor country.
A democratic,
Yes.
united,
Yes.
non-ethnic,
Yes.
sexist,
Is it your case that BBI,
and that plenty.
the handshake and BBI would sort out that?
Because we have never laid a proper foundation to build on so that we can be able to
Would
realize.
BBI, in your view, do that?
I think so.
Now, you see there was a handshake, and then the BBI dream, the ideal. How much of that handshake BBI ideal is carried in this current bill? Because there were things you are dreaming
Yes.
about, you and Uhuru, but it has been difficult to incorporate them into this bill.
Yes.
How much, in terms of percentage, generally speaking, is a lot of what you and Uhuru envisioned in this BBI document?
I would say about 70%
Of your dream is there.
60 to 70%
Yes.
is there.
Yes.
There are some which probably they thought were not politic
Yes.
at the moment because you have to sell it.
Yes.
And the political environment is polluted.
So some of the things
So maybe
You shelve a bit.
Shelve and do at another time.
are you willing to share one or two of those quickly? Because time is really not on our side. Or that can be done later with other future people.
There are, you see, like our structure of devolution.
You are really
in
for
my
the
view,
third tier.
Third tier.
Yes.
That's how we came from Bomas.
Yes.
See, the Bomas draft,
Yes.
in my view, was the ideal
Yes.
for this country. It took a long time to negotiate, and we brought in experts.
To bring in, to create viable units,
Units.
14 to 18,
Yes.
sort of the current 47.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
that's one of them. Would the
Yes.
Prime Minister position be one of them in terms of you having successfully pushed for a pure parliamentary system, and currently in this bill, there being a Prime Minister who is not quite near measuring there?
You see, what we have now is more, it's a hybrid.
Yes.
It's more the French
Yes.
system. You know, in France you got a president
And
who's
a Prime Minister.
elected and a president.
But Raila, there are those who believe that you are Prime Minister. The Prime Minister in this document is no more than just a minister. I mean, he doesn't enjoy the power.
No,
And they also argue, so that you take the two questions together. People say when you have a Prime Minister and a President, that's going to cause friction. And they kind of want to equate this with the Grand Coalition government, where there were issues of consensus, where there was some little friction between you and Kibaki. when you are the Prime Minister. They are saying you are bringing back that problem. What do you tell such a people?
No, so first, there's been always a mistake being made by those who make that comparative analysis.
Yes.
First, the Grand Coalition government was a coalition.
Yes.
We were sharing power with Kibaki equally.
Equally.
It was in the accord,
Yes.
which was constitutionalized. Remember, it was made part of the constitution.
Yes.
And Kibaki appointed half of the cabinet.
You appointed
half of the cabinet. And major decisions, there had to be consultations
Yes.
between the Prime Minister and the President.
The President.
And I think there are only twice also that we had
Some conflicts.
like remember when I suspended the ministers,
yeah.
and Kibaki said I had not consulted him.
Yes. And when he appointed the Chief Justice and the Attorney General, you too said he had not consulted. I think those are the only two. So even by that measure alone, you cannot use that as an excuse, I think.
You cannot use that as an excuse.
But the big argument is that these two are different.
You see, now if you come to this other one,
Yes.
I don't think that the Prime Minister envisioned now is a Lemdek Prime Minister.
Yes.
Because they're talking about the President appointing him.
Yes.
President first nominates a Prime Minister initially. Just like the Queen nominates a Prime Minister in Britain.
Yes.
Then Parliament
has to
elect by vote. And it is then only Parliament which can remove a Prime Minister in Britain, not the Queen.
So here we have said the Parliament can and the President can.
No, President can only be the approval of Parliament.
Yes.
The President, if he wants to fire the Prime Minister, he has to send it to a motion to Parliament.
But would you agree with me that perhaps this must be seen as a transitional kind of provision, so that in future we could get to an arrangement where maybe not necessarily a parliamentary system, but a Prime Minister with a lot more powers?
I don't see any more powers you can give to the Prime Minister
beyond
what is there now.
Yes.
It's not like the Tanzanian one.
Yes.
In Tanzania, the President appoints and President dismisses.
Yes.
Here they've said the President nominates, Parliament then confirms, and then President appoints. And if you want to dismiss, you have to go back to Parliament.
But Raila Odinga has been pushing for a parliamentary system, and he has been Prime Minister. One would want to imagine naturally that if there was a President and a Prime Minister, Raila Odinga, if he were actively involved in the politics of the land, would go for the Prime Minister position. Would you accept such a Prime Minister position as currently contained in the BBI proposal, which is now a bill? Can I see a situation where Raila Odinga is coming to run for parliamentary seat in Bondo to become that Prime Minister?
I said I'm not interested in politics for 2022.
I know.
But if that were the case, why not?
You could still do it.
But I was never a member of Parliament of Bondo.
Yes.
I mean, I thought
you go to Langata.
Yes. I'm saying the Prime Minister right now.
Yes.
The coordinator and supervisor of the executive.
You'll still do it if you wanted to do politics.
The executive, yes.
You are said, and we are not pushing you.
Yes.
You are said you still do it. Yeah, but given a choice, which would you go for? Either. You are not going to run, and we are not asking you. Please don't answer that. You are not running.
I would go for either.
For either?
Yes.
But what do you think your supporters would want?
That's really, I'll leave that to them. I don't want to make a judgment.
Can I speak for them? They'll want you to eat the better part of the meat.
People actually...
My people call it shididimo.
President.
Kidari. Wanataka uchukue kidari. Unajua kidari kwa ng'ombe?
They don't know this Prime Minister. But when I was a Prime Minister, I had real powers.
Yes.
As a Prime Minister.
But do you think this Prime Minister will have the kind of power you had?
If you look at the wording, they're not different from the wording in the accord.
Yes.
You see, the Prime Minister shall supervise and manage the executive, including sharing of the cabinet subcommittees. Okay. And this is what I was doing. So
you can still do it anytime if you had, if you chose to.
Yes.
If you chose to be in politics, and if you are side one.
Yes. There was coordinator and supervisor of the executive. And I was also then the government spokesperson
Yes.
in parliament.
Which was a good position, you say.
I was not a leader of the House business.
Yes.
That was Kalonzo, who was then the vice president.
Yes.
But I was the government chief spokesperson in parliament. Right now, the prime minister is going to be the leader of the House business committee.
Yes.
And also supervising and coordinating the functions of the executive.
Correct.
So I think that this prime minister has got a lot of powers.
Given Raila Odinga, given the fact that BBI is a vision for this country, the handshake, BBI, and this referendum, if it goes through, you will need somebody to implement that vision. Because that law will not be enough. The amendment, the new laws and amendment to the constitution and even the policy changes will not be enough to realize that vision. You'll need a man or a woman behind, pushing it. Doesn't that occupy you with Uhuru Kenyatta? That, yes, we can midwife the change to the point of the referendum, then we have a new infrastructure, legal infrastructure, by the changes in the constitution and the new laws. But you'll need a person leading a team to be able to to take this thing through, because the law is just the beginning. Doesn't that ever occupy you with Uhuru Kenyatta, that there will be need to have somebody in the office of the president, somebody in the office of the prime minister, working with other leaders to ensure this vision is realized?
No, that of course is our concern.
Because it just can't be anybody.
No, Professor, I agree with you.
Yes.
That is of course is of concern.
Yes.
But of the most primary concern right now is having this matter passed.
Yes.
Once it is passed,
Yes.
we will then begin to put together a team
Yes.
that is going to oversee
This
implementation. Okay? And there you need people who have conviction that this is the right solution.
Could Ruto be one of them?
No,
You doubt.
I mean, I'll say people who believe in it.
People who believe in it.
There are people who have other
Ambivalent here and there.
ambivalent, and
Yes.
they will put it together with the elections.
And if Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta are not leading that team, are you confident? Are you confident there are men in this team, the men among the people we know? I know strange people can come. Obama came from nowhere. That's not the normal thing. We have people we know. We have Kalonzo, we have Mudavadi, we have Wetangula, and one or two others, Joho, there's Oparanya, who seem to be working with you. Are you confident that, seeing the magnitude of this vision, are you thinking if Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta were not actively there in 2022 and beyond, are you seeing from this team a captain who can do that? Or do you have your moments of doubt?
I want you to answer that question yourself.
Yes.
Where I'm standing,
Yes.
they are Kenyans.
Yes.
Not Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga are not the only Kenyans.
Yes, that we know.
There are other Kenyans, and that's why I've said
Yes.
you need a team.
You need a
don't
team.
just need an individual.
Yes.
Once you have a team,
Yes.
of course, then you think of a team leader who will lead the team to implement it. So in my view, and a good idea
Yes.
can only be beneficial to the people if it is properly implemented, how it was conceived. And that requires people who can do this out of conviction.
And that you are saying, you'll get around that, you'll get doing that, you'll make Kenyans aware of that team after you have achieved the first part, very critical part of going through the referendum.
Yes.
Doesn't also concern you and Uhuru Kenyatta that that might be too late. Considering that there's the very obvious competitor, William Samoei Ruto, is already moving. He has already declared he's running for president. He's assembled his troops. He's traversing the country. He's hitting the ground. And he has had his moments of victory, for example, in Msambweni. And there are a series of by-elections coming before the BBI referendum. Doesn't it concern you that he could pick a momentum that you may have a problem challenging?
But I don't really, Professor, want to worry about this.
Yes.
By-elections have been there. Remember, in our first term in the party,
Yes.
there were defections.
Many.
The
Nyayo defections.
The Nyayo defections. People, and a lot of money was being used.
My MP was, I think, the second or third. You remember Khaniri?
Nicodemus. Nicodemus was one of the first was Apili Wawire.
Apili Wawire?
No, Apili Wawire was in Western.
Yes.
But the first
was Obondo.
No.
No.
Likoa. Owino Likoa. Migori.
Then somebody from Kisi.
And then Momanyi.
Protas Momanyi.
Those were the first defectors.
Yeah, then a series of them, Javan Omami, Wabi, Shamala,
Magwagwa,
all men of these fellows.
Magwagwa,
but yes, by-elections, I hold the view, and I've said this in many forums, that they are a very poor indicator of what is happening. You can't say Ugenya, they are very poor. That I give you an example. You are a very popular politician. When you ran after leaving Fort Kenya, I was giving some interview, I think I said recently. Even as popular as you are, you didn't get more than 5,000 votes.
No, just
around there.
Yeah.
Josephat Karanja, in a by-election, I think in Mathare, got about 3,000 votes, which then propelled him to become member of parliament and then vice president. So I am not talking about by-elections being an indicator. I'm just, the principal argument is this. We are moving dangerously close to 2022. And your opponent is already on the ground and running. And picking a few victories here and there. Of course, he's also receiving beatings also here and there. But since the referendum is not January, it's not this year, it's not next 3-4 months, maybe, by the time you are through with the referendum, you will have very little time left to assemble your troops. Don't you think it is time, perhaps you told Kenyans, maybe in some way, that, well, I, Raila Odinga, I'm there for you. I may not go for president, but I'll be with you to see these things through.
But that I've been saying.
You have been saying that?
I've been saying that. I've never tired of saying that.
So you'll be there for Kenyans?
Yes.
Past 2022?
I've said to ensure that...
Can you say that of Uhuru Kenyatta?
Uhuru said he's going to be available to oversee the implementation. But it's not said you want to be a president or you want to be a prime minister.
Prime minister. Should Kenyans be surprised if the two of you come up in 2022 and tell them, here we are, we want to see this thing through?
No.
They should not be surprised.
No, they should be surprised.
They should be surprised. Why?
So, because you have not said it.
You have not said it.
You want me to answer the same question in
another way.
Language.
No, said this you are clever, I can see. So, well, everybody agrees with you, Raila Odinga and Rahul, that what you did was big. But human beings have the capacity to forget. Sometimes very fast. 2018 was just the other day. 2017, just a couple, 2-3 years ago. And the people seem not to really value your handshake. Some people, they don't see the magnitude of that handshake, what it did to save this country. Do you get sometimes even annoyed?
I understand the human nature.
Yes.
Those who have got short memories, they'll never forget, they'll never remember what happened yesterday.
Yes.
There's that animal, it's not a skunk, it's a warthog. The one that looked like a pig.
Yeah, the ngiri.
The ngiri.
Yes.
Ngiri, is so forgetful.
Yeah. So some people forget fast.
People forget like warthog. They keep on, they forget very fast.
That therefore reminds me, because when people who are opposing BBI, the referendum, the manner in which they are opposing, the conditions they are putting on the table, some of them reasonable, some of them quite unreasonable, some of them directly obstacles. What would you feel if these people kind of succeeded to derail the BBI? I know it will be your prayer that it goes through, but and you'll work hard to realize that.
God forbid.
Yes.
But in the event that they succeed in derailing BBI, that will not be the end of it.
Life will still continue.
Life will still continue. Remember, they derailed the Bombers draft initially.
But finally it came to pass.
In 2005. It came to pass finally.
Yes.
But at a great cost.
But at a great
in terms
cost,
of life.
So we hope it passes. Because we are now running out of time, we actually have just in a minute, the remaining minute. What would you tell Kenyans to expect after the BBI goes through, in just a minute? Because you say, God forbid, meaning you'll work hard enough for it to go through. What would Kenyans expect, especially those who are doubting?
There will be a number of gains to the people, like, in terms of financial gains.
Yes.
You've made provision for the 35% minimum of funding going to the counties. So that will be immediate, because in the next budget, provision will be made for that amount of money to go to the counties, and there will also be the ward fund. Issue will also be provided for at that time.
Do you see those as sweeteners, the way people are putting them?
No, I'm saying those are low-hanging.
Low-hanging fruits. Not sweeteners. Fruits may be sweet, but they are not necessarily sweeteners. But just in the next 20 seconds which we have, what is that Kenya now, post-BBI, post-2022? In a very pictorial manner, in a very comprehensive way, the dream. Do you see the Kenya you have been dreaming about beginning to take shape then?
Yes, I think this is...
Could you sit down either in Bondo, in a Opoda farm, or somewhere in Karen and say, at least I'm happy?
Yes, I told you that we did not get exactly everything we wanted. Yes. But I said that this is a major step forward. In my view. Remember